you need to learn how to do claying up if you're going to do a two-part mold. We haven't talked at all about doing a two-part mold. Everything we've talked about has been a one-parter or an open face type. But if I'm going to do a two-part, this is a mold box for a two-part mold. And this gets into the fact that you can actually do injection molding with urethane. So what I have here, be careful how I lay my parts out because they got to go back together exactly right. What I have here is a two-part mold. Okay? This is a truck side frame for a large O-scale diesel locomotive. And the way this thing works is that I put it together, and you'll notice that I have match marks everywhere. I have an X here, I have two lines here that don't cross, I have parallel lines here, and I have a single line over here. That's so I know when I go to put this thing back together exactly how it goes, because I have to put it back in this mold box exactly right. There's my part of my two X's coming off, and those, when I put them together, wrong way. Okay, so we'll take that off, turn it around. Aha, now my lines line up, so I know it's right. That's my 2, this is my X, so it should be this way. It's not, it goes the other way with dummy. There we go. And now my X all lines up. Now I know I've put the box back together. What I have then is I have a hole here, which is my injection hole. I'm going to take a syringe, which I happen to have some of up here, a large one. I'm going to fill this with my urethane. Then I'm going to put that in that hole and inject it. And what I will have then is a two-part mold that's filled up. Now I talked about the two-part because when I went to make this, I put the part down on a bed of clay. And I took the clay and I scraped it off until it was exactly at the midpoint, the parting line that you would see on all those plastic parts where they have that line, the parts between. I'm doing the same thing. I poured the half that did not have the clay, the part above the clay. I made a mold box that was this mold box right here. I made it in 8 pieces. 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. This had nothing in it. This had the clay and the part. So I pour this top, which has nothing now. This silicone was poured first. Without taking them apart, I flipped it over and I pulled all the clay out. My frame is now attached to the silicone that I poured the first time, and I pour this part with the rest of the silicone after coating the surface with a mold release, in this case petroleum jelly, so that these two halves would separate after they were poured. Now I have a two-part mold, and all I have to do is make my injection point, and I can make truck side frames. Okay, so that's a two-part mold. The other thing we can do is what's called a glove mold. This is a glove mold. This is a syringe that I have split on the bandsaw. Now, I split it after I cast it, because what I did was I took this G-scale air cylinder and I put a brass pin in each end. I took that and I put it in my syringe before it was drilled out, before it was cut apart. And I suspended this just like that. I had another plug on this other end that would hold that dead in the middle. Then I filled this syringe with the silicone. Pulled that, after it was dried, I slit this up, both sides, so that I could split it apart. And I took out then this mold with the, make sure I put this back in the right way. Yeah, it fits very well. Pull that out like that. Here I have my mold, and I took an X-Acto and I slid it down one side so that I could open it and take my part out. Now I have a mold for that cylinder. And once again, because I have a vent hole here on the bottom and I have a fill hole here, so I put that back in there. I would take tape now and tape around this to hold it in position, take my syringe, fill that from the one hole that I had made by this brass rod, and it would run out this end. I plug it with a piece of tape, let it set up, voila, we have an air cylinder. Okay? And that's called a glove mold. Glove mold is different than a two-part because you're making it as a one-part mold, but you're going to slit it after the fact.
So I've done like cylindrical objects.
Yes, cylindrical, or I've also done HO and O scale gas pumps, mailboxes, anything like that that you can, you know, encase and take out a little more easily than having to play up and build the mold totally as an injectable two-part mold. It's slightly faster than a two-part mold.